Hello, everybody. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me how to level the deck on the SCAG V Ride 2. The V Ride 1 is a little different, so a lot of them are different. But this is how you do it on the V Ride 2. It's actually pretty simple. So if you look right here, these bolts that go in the front, there's one there, there's one back here, same thing on the other side. So there's 4 points that all connect to these chains, okay? You want your chains to be tight in all 4 corners. Like this one's a little loose, not bad. That one's pretty tight. Over there, that front one's pretty tight, the back one's loose. That's why the deck teeter-totters like that when you hit a bump. So what you do is you have to loosen this bolt right here. This allows the whole arm to pivot up and down, which makes the chain looser or tighter. And then you run this bolt in, and what this bolt will do is it pushes the back. This bracket right here is like an L shape, and it pushes it outward on the back, which pulls the front down to tighten the chain, okay? You back it off, which allows the bottom of the back of this bracket to go in, which allows the chain to come up, which makes the chain looser, okay? So that's how you adjust it to get it up or down. And you do it in all 4 corners. Now what you want to do is you want to set your deck at 3 inches, where I'm already set right now. Okay. So you want to set your deck at 3 inches, where I'm at right now, and then you put your deck down. So you want to turn your blades so at least the center one doesn't matter. This discharge side and the one on the other side, you want your blades to be straight, front to back, okay? So you just grab your blade and you turn it underneath there. And then what you want to do, like I said, you set it at 3 inches. So at that point, you want the front blade, the front of the blade to be at 3 inches. So you get one of these. There it is right there. You get one of these. You can use a tape measure if you want. These are the easier way to do it. It's what they're designed for. They're like $7 on Amazon. And you stick this on a flat surface, make sure there's nothing under it on the ground, make sure it's clean right there. And then you push this up to the bottom of the blade. And wherever you push it, you have a needle, and it has all your heights. Your cutting, see it says cutting height right there. It has all your heights right there. So when you push this to the bottom of the front of that blade, it should be at 3 inches if your deck is set right, since we have the deck already set at 3 inches. So what I do, let me get a light under here so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So what I do, I got a light under there. You want, that's the other thing, you got to make sure your mower is on as level of a surface as you can find it. So you stick this under there, and you push down on this part so that this end of it here hits the bottom of the blade. Push it up, and you want it at the front tip of the blade. So right there, teeter-totter, and there's crap on the ground right here. Okay, you push it down so it's up. So right there, the front of that blade, if you look on the gauge right here, is almost at 3 inches. It's just about right at 3 inches, okay? So what you do is you got to go to the other side, and I'll show you the easy way to do this because there's not an opening on the other side, obviously. So what you do, you reach under here and you turn that blade. I can already tell this side's lower. You turn that blade so it's straight forward, straight on, just like the other one. And then you stick this under here. It's the other good thing about having one of these instead of a tape measure. And you get it underneath the tip of that blade and you push it up. So right there, it's up against the bottom of the blade. And if you can see on the gauge right there, it's at 2 3/4. So this side of the deck, the front of the deck, is cutting at 2 3/4 when this deck is set at 3 inches. And the other side is cutting at 3. So once you get both sides done, and you have them exactly where you want them, you then do the same thing with the blade straight, keeping it as it is, you do the back side and put it up against the bottom of the blade. And the back side of your deck should be 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch higher than the front. 1/8 inch is ideal. So if you have the front set at 3 inches, the back should measure at 3 1/8 up to 3 1/4. You don't want to go more than 1/4 inch of pitch, because then that will change the flow coming out of the deck. That'll change your blowout coming out the sides, the front, everything. So it needs to be pitched correctly. A lot of guys run it perfectly even. So if it's 3 in the front, they'll set it at 3 in the back. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not, depending on your conditions. But I've always set them so I have 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch pitch towards the front, and I've never had an issue. So that's where I will set this. Once you get it set, so this is what I do. I set the front, and once I have the front set on both sides so that it doesn't change anything as I'm adjusting the back, once you get it set, like I said, if you need it to come up more, you'll drive this bolt inward, and it'll set it tight to where you want it. If you need it to come up, you drive it in, and it'll pull it tighter. And you'll notice, because your chain will be loose or tight. See how tight that is? See this one here? It's loose. So that's not tight, which allows the deck to teeter-totter. So once you get it set, the front set, and you use this bolt here on all 4 corners, use that bolt there, and you got it set so it's exactly 3 inches, you then tighten this one up here. This will lock this arm so that this arm can't move either way and change the height. So you lock the 2 front ones, get them tightened right up, drive that locking nut in so the 2 front ones are tight, and then at that point, then you adjust the rears. Once you get the rears set with that same bolt like this here, but the ones in the back, once you get that set, then you tighten those up on the back, and then take another measurement, and everything should be exactly right. And that's how you adjust the deck on a V Ride 2.